What was that about laughing at people in pain?
So I've just stubbed my little toe on the toe that I stubbed that's got the toenail hanging off it. Oh, pain is so bad.
Oh, sweetie.
So good morning, good moaning, everybody. Did you have a good weekend? Oh my God! Stop it! Get off there! Oh my God!
What was happening there?
She was licking the chocolate off the piece
Oh
of
my-
baking paper. This dog is a chocolate addict.
Hang on. Better than that. She was on the
Oh my
coffee
God.
table.
There was a date on there with chocolate on it last night. She's bloody eaten it. With the pistachio nuts.
Oh, she's going to be shitting everywhere.
Oh, Mark.
What? You were in charge of the dates?
No, I wasn't.
Oh my God, literally, she was on the coffee
She's
table.
eaten the date.
Toffee, she's an absolute.
I mean, do dates kill dogs? Chocolate does,
grapes,
but not her.
Grapes aren't good for them.
But she eats grapes. She don't care. Look at Chi-Chi in the background. Look at the good child just watching. These are our dogs, guys, just going, oh, that's
You're right. If
me.
you're listening on podcast, we've just looked to the left and Toffee was on the coffee table. Go to your bed. You're naughty.
Oh, God, I'm dreading that poo. Close all the doors.
Close all the doors.
So this
batten down the hatches.
This is very relevant because one of the things we're going to be talking about today is the 11 ways that you know that your dog loves you.
She's going into my room. Don't you dare do one in there.
Yes. We're also going to be talking about the German far right surge, which is very scary, not a little bit scary, very scary. And also the subject that Mark has done a deep dive into today because it's very, very important. Breaking news. People in the Shires are having more sex.
No, actually, I sent this to you very cursorily and you said, oh, this is interesting.
But now you know everything about it. Haven't you printed out 10 pages of
A4? We're going to a party just to test drive something.
And we're also going to be talking about the Ozempic red carpet. Now, Mark said to me, oh, should we include the Ozempic red carpet? And I went, well, we talked about Ozempic quite a lot. And Anyway, and then I looked at the photos and I was so horrified. Listen, I am a real advocate for people that are skinny. I hate the way people, oh, you're so skinny. You know, I've got friends that are naturally very skinny and it's like, it's just another kind of body fascism to have a go at people that are skinny. But when you absolutely know that that is not a person's body type, which is what we're seeing saw on the red carpet last night, it really is. I am actually, because I thought, was everyone getting a bit too hysterical about this? But actually, I think it is worrying.
Yes.
It's another body. We've had the last body trend has been these enormous great bums where people have been having implants, where girls are spending hours in the gym trying to build, we see it in the gym ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
Trying to build their butts to an unusually ridiculous size. Are we now going to go back?
Well, I mean, for me, when we look at those images, well, we'll talk about that when we get to it. And we're going to finally talk about Doggy Love. I don't think we're going to have time for Waspies. We've been over ambitious with the titles.
Okay, we've got to do that tomorrow, though, because we've never done the Waspies, and it's really important.
No. So I am going to drop that. I'm going to make an executive decision.
Okay.
Yes, you wanted to start with a funny clip, though. It's Monday morning. You wanted to cheer people up. You wanted to get them on the good side of things. And what was the clip you wanted to show, Nat? Which one?
And this woman going into the pool.
The woman going into the pool. The man.
Oh, we've given away the pump. Okay, well, let's do that. Well, let's do this guy first.
Oh, I see. Yes. Oh, I didn't. All right. Do you want to? I think you need to tee up what's happening here for when we hear it, because you don't really understand for those listening.
Okay. So this is somebody who's being baptized.
Yes.
And he's being taken back into the pool, and the preacher or the priest, I don't know, falls under the water with him, and then we're watching the guy who's trying not to laugh, and then afterwards, well, we'll see. Enough spoiled it.
The Holy Ghost. Makes no difference what went down in Jesus' name.
The guy who's been baptized, and then he's in the room afterwards howling.
And go cook. I cry.
Cause you dip you.
No. I mean, the thing is, that will be, because they filmed it, that will be a significant moment forever in his religious, spiritual life.
Yes.
But the preacher goes under. The preacher goes under. But there's an arrow pointing at the woman on the stairs. A minute, the silhouette. Let me watch it a second.
Of the Holy Ghost. Makes no difference what went down in Jesus' name.
It goes to shut the door.
Oh my God.
Very funny.
Go and watch it. We can't. You're going to always have to go and watch. Because otherwise, give it away the punchline. Now,
very funny.
This, I was just saying over on Instagram, I think we've talked about this before in here. What is the psychology behind people that really, really laugh at people falling over as long as they haven't really hurt themselves? Because
Well, you do it all the time. And then when it happens to you, you can't tolerate it.
So one of our daughters keeps using this spray on her hair that makes the floor in the bathroom like an ice skating rink. And one of our daughters was calling for some toilet roll.
Yeah.
And Maddie ran upstairs and she charged it like it was an emergency. She went and sat down on the floor, right? But I didn't actually see this. I've only been told.
You don't need to see it to find it hysterical.
I cannot stop. Do you know, I went up this morning and the floor was slippery again, and I couldn't breathe up there. I was laughing so much.
I'm going to say something about that. So I went to the loo late one night when in the epicenter of this very polished floor. And I went into the loo one night, nearly went arse over tit as my heel flew up
It's a death trap.
kicked the radiator against the wall. To stop myself falling, I hook my foot on the radiator. And then I hear you all talking about this. What is that stuff? It's like spray on ice rink.
It's a detangler.
It tangles you up in a different way.
You've got to start spraying it over the bath. She goes, but then people will get in the bath and slip and break their neck. I said, okay, well, let's do it.
It's so dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
But I think, what is that streak? That streak is viciousness.
I
think it's also being a sibling, because you love the people that are falling, but you also have a satisfaction in seeing it happen.
No, I've not got a satisfaction. It's just, it makes me laugh so much. My dad is Do you know what I think it is? When my dad used to laugh so much was when he used to watch Laurel and Hardy. It's his favourite slapstick. And I sent them a video yesterday of something else, and my mum said that Dad nearly passed out from laughing so much and not breathing. And it was falling. So maybe it's got that euphoric recall, because it was what my dad always laughed at.
I find it funny, but no one finds it funnier than you do when I injure myself. I mean, I fell over in the theatre the other night. God. You didn't laugh at that enough. I
didn't laugh at it at all because she'd shoved me first. We went to see the producers.
When you walk in a crowd, you have zero comprehension of the people around you. When you're in a group and you walk through a door, you let the door fly in people's faces. You're not Little Miss Madam, but you come across. Yes, you do.
I'm not. I'm a very
no. You are a considerate person, but when you're walking in groups, you lose all sense of the pack.
Oh, I'm just chatting.
You're just totally in a, and so you'd actually railroaded me into the stage. So when I fell, I was nudging you to save myself.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. Yes, absolutely, Selena. My dad used to do the same with Tom and Jerry, she says. And that's the only cartoon I really liked was Tom and Jerry. It used to make me howl.
Roadrunner. I used to love Roadrunner.
I hated Roadrunner, and everyone that loved it.
I love the ever more elaborate ways that the poor old Wile E. Coyote got destroyed. I hated Roadrunner. I loved Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, Jan's dad loved Laurel and Hardy and Tom and Jerry too.
Oh, very simple. Very simple. Yeah. Harold Lloyd, says Edward Bevington. Anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, we're going to have no time for anything. German right, far. Okay, so Germany, elections. The far right have doubled their share of the vote since the last election. This is bad news. I mean, obviously, no one needs to kind of a big history lesson to know that this has a particular sort of sharp-ended piquancy for the Germans, because, of course, their history of the far right. And when you see headlines like far right gets the largest percentage of the vote since World War II, I do think we all need to get a little bit nervous and a little bit worried. But the thing, I mean, the news is there, you know, it's not going to be a far right government. The central right, the more kind of central conservative parties are going to be able to form a government. But of course, the danger is that the far right party, the ADF, are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, their influence on mainstream politics will be profound, as we've seen with reform. As soon as any mainstream government, even if they're not in it, has an awareness that there's a large minority, policy starts to get sort of steered towards their needs, because they know that the next election they could lose everyone to them. So
if they don't.
So that's why it's significant. A lot of people go, well, they haven't won, they're not in power. Well, it doesn't really matter. Look at reform. Reform weren't looking at winning the last election. Reform were looking at winning the next. And I would say the same of the party of the far right in Germany.
And the thing is, we've just got to stop saying things like, "Oh, it's not going to happen." And I mean, look at Trump. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were saying there is now a real wave of people coming in saying they regretted voting for him. Yes, they wanted this, they wanted that, but they kind of dismissed the more extreme language, just thinking, oh, he won't do that. You know, it's like, if you don't have that kind of heart and that kind of mind, I suppose that naivety goes with that heart and mind, like, you know, that's a good thing, but I think we've just got to all wake up a bit, haven't we?
Well, and also looking,
there are some dark people in charge.
And also looking to history, in terms of history repeating itself, everyone assumes that that Hitler happened on 1939, the day of, you know, war. But he was chancellor in a dictatorial fashion from 1933. And prior to 1933, it was many attempts at kind of eroding support for left-wing parties. And yes, there has been a micro surge for the left-wing parties of about 2%. They're at about 8%, I think, in Germany. The Green Party have lost votes. So I think I have a horrible feeling that the Green Party on the planet, at a moment when we most need them, are losing momentum. And I don't know what to do about that.
So, you know, the worry is that far-right organisations are going to be emboldened by Trump, and certainly are at the moment. But do you think that, like, looking on this positively, that it could go the other way as well, that people do wake up more, that they have to be more proactive and you know, the left, or for want of a better word, but anyone in opposition to the right has to,
in Germany,
well, across the world, not in Germany, across the world, that everybody is right. Okay, actually, this is really serious.
Yeah, but
you know, we've been saying this right from the beginning with Gaza, haven't we? Once international law is poo-pooed by, you know, very powerful countries, the whole thing, it just starts to discombobulate.
Well, I've got a more sinister feeling reading of this, actually.
That was my hopeful.
No, there's always going to be there's always younger people, they say, skew more left wing. The problem I see in these what are culture wars in these so-called democracies, etc., is that more and more people who are of sort of sit within that diversity and equality and left wing or are supportive of Palestine, more and more people who may have varying opinions on varying things, but one defining part of them is, say, Palestinian support for Palestine, or climate change or whatever. Every single one of those types of groups of people are being marginalized and made extreme and are having their rights removed.
Yeah.
And as they get their rights removed, the right wing are kind of pretending there's this middle ground of normal people like my nan and granddad's generation who just want a nice, easy life. Yeah. If it's your nice, easy sort of life that doesn't speak to the concerns of so many other people. And I have a real concern also alongside that. So that what I think is happening is that people on the left are incrementally being restrained legally in terms of the media, in terms of an ability to protest.
And we're seeing that sped up in America.
And I think that's happening across, that's a common thing across all countries. It's what reform want. It's what every,
it's what the Tories wanted as well. They've brought in a whole new load of rules and regulations on protest and when we weren't looking.
And when you look at the far right party in Germany and look at that, you know, their ticket is anti-all immigration. So what we're going to have here is a bunch of kind of principally white Western countries wanting to say no one else in the world come to us. And what I would argue is America and Israel are trying to do in the Middle East is try and turn that, flip the Middle East to as controllable by a white male middle class Western sentiment represented by Israel as much as possible, make it as controllable as possible. I get my bigger concern though, alongside all of that, is I think humans have, and I think we're feeling it now, a death drive. I think I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on this. I've been thinking this a lot more recently. I feel like there's a drive towards destruction and chaos and a barbarism. As long as you, and for all those on the far right, you'd think, well, why would they want the end of the world? They don't care if they're right. They don't care if it's their leader saying it, if it's Trump and all the far. And I think I don't think people care now if they take the world to fucking disaster. And I think once you've gone past caring, and there is in psychoanalytical, you know, there is the death drive. I think society in the West is struggling with a form of suicide ideation. We don't mind taking this as far as it will go.
Do you think that's because there's a lot of hopelessness? You know,
Totally,
what we're hearing
totally.
about, you know, the planet, and there's a feeling that, I mean, I certainly have to fight against that feeling of, is there any way that we can save the world? You know?
Christine Betts says we don't have any issues with far right parties like in Germany. I disagree. I think the Reform Party is seeking to distance itself from the far right, but is far right. You know, there's this idea coming from somewhere that all of these people representing these far right parties, like I consider Reform far right, are somehow honourable individuals who are saying things at face value. Let's not forget. Let's just take the spearheader of it all, Farage. He lied about the financial exchange of what we were paying to Europe and what we'd get back. He lied.
Just
Categorically lied. Now, no one wants, and again, this is what I speak about in terms of a death drive. It seems more and more people are caught in this strange place of wanting to be on the right side that goes, rah, rah, everything's wrong. It's not about what's right anymore. It's not about facts anymore. It's just about being able to vent one's spleen, and it doesn't matter what the consequences are. So I disagree, Christine Betts. Sorry, I'm not being too forceful. But I disagree. Oh, so you're in New Zealand. Oh, sorry. But I mean, you know, well, maybe you don't. Thank God, we'll come to New Zealand. I do apologise.
We're literally thinking of it.
There are a lot of people who like to sort of characterise Reform as, you know, there's far right, there's extreme right. There's always going to be the more permissible, presentable end of far right politics. That's what Hitler did in Germany. Presented a rational, reasonable National Socialist Party for workers who were disenfranchised. Reasonable. And then you move through time, it changes.
That's what Farage does often, doesn't he?
But
in his interviews.
So
Seems like a very jolly, reasonable chap he can appear to be.
You've pulled this up, Nikki Ball. I keep seeing a post saying, if you think you love freedom but you don't care if it applies to everyone, then what you actually love is privilege. That's a great quote.
That's a great quote.
Well, the final thing I wanted to say about this as well is what I don't understand is we've had clear American interference in the German election. I mean, beyond obvious. I mean, the far right party have images of Elon Musk on the screens. We have now got past any ability of anyone to be able to say, oh, no, it's Russian or Chinese interference. We've seen Israel control American foreign policy in the Middle East. We've seen Israel control British foreign policy in the Middle East. And we're now seeing America try to control election results in Germany.
I haven't really seen anyone ask Trump about, because he doesn't want to spend this money anymore, which is grossly over-exaggerated in Ukraine, and nobody seems to be challenging him on the money spent in Israel.
No, that's a really good point. No, that's a really good point. And in fact, Zelensky made the point. He said, the money that America's given us, I'm really pleased you mentioned this, because, you know, I 100% agree with Zelensky on this. He asked this question yesterday: how come the hundreds of billions that's given to us is now a debt that needs to be repaid?
Oh, did he?
When none of the money given to Israel, Saudi Arabia, and various other countries has been considered in those terms.
But
let's pull in the money that Israel owes everyone.
Let's not forget, and I haven't seen anyone pick up on this. And it may be it's because it's just the language and he doesn't really mean it, but I keep going back to Trump saying Gaza will become America. It will become part of America. That's his tone, isn't it? that they're going to take it over. So that's all agreed. Israel is America. He wants all of that from Zelensky as well. He wants land, he wants minerals.
He wants to economically compromise every country in the world to make them so dependent on, like Jordan. Jordan is an example of it happening.
If Putin wants Europe, the Baltics, that's fine, because it's just all transactions.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he wants to peel Russia away from China. He wants to try and drive a little bit of a wedge. He's panic-stricken about, and I hear from people who are close to him, he is panic-stricken about the Russia, China, Iran thing.
China.
And I think he wants to completely sort of, love bomb Putin and just sort of drag him over. God. Okay, let's talk about sex in the Shires.
Shall we?
Should we pivot strongly to the right?
Let's talk doggy love. Let's talk sex in the Shires.
That's a different kind of doggy love.
Okay, go on then. Mark, take it away.
So, this was a kind of very funny piece to read in the Times, entitled "It's True, We Do Have More Sex in the Shires." And this is a number, actually, not just one, but a number of recent kind of polls and surveys and all sorts of things have suggested that actually more and more people are having sex in places like the Cotswolds and Frome and in the Shires than anywhere else. I'm trying to find the actual stats. Where are they? So hang on, let me just plop this map up, because this is quite a telling map, which you can all read whilst we find the statistics. These are the areas in the country most recently surveyed at the end of last year that are having most sex. Not surprisingly, number one is Rutland.
Where's Rutland?
Up there, I think, not right at the top. No, that's down there. Anyway, so places having most sex: Rutland, Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, Cambridgeshire, West Midlands, Shropshire, Greater London, Leicestershire, Derbyshire, Warwickshire. Areas having the least sex: Norfolk, Suffolk, Northumberland, Merseyside and Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, Northamptonshire, East Sussex, Essex, Gloucestershire and Surrey. Yeah. Oh, Gloucestershire. I thought the Cotswolds were at it night and day.
No, exactly. So
that's wrong.
So that survey kind of pulls against this article. Anyway, this article is very funny.
Anybody recognise their area and have anything to say?
Yeah. So the survey found that 41% of those in the countryside enjoyed role play, compared with just 32% of urbanites.
I know what that is.
Why is that?
Well, I don't.
You've got more roles to play, like farmers.
I don't think the city lends itself very well to sexiness. It's dirty. It's exhausting traveling.
Yes.
You spend hours in traffic.
Yeah.
It's busy. It's
just
smelly.
have sex? Where are you going to?
No, it's smelly. People are just like working longer hours in the city. All of this, it's drive, ambition.
Yeah.
Emails coming in all times of day and night. When in the countryside, there's literally, you can breathe.
Yes.
I mean, it's totally different. It's like taking off a massive rucksack of worry. So also it's very cold in those stone houses. And I think in this article, this woman alludes to that. She said she's invited men back to her cottage sometimes just to keep warm. Also, I think that there's not a lot going on. I mean, you go to the pub, you stay a bit longer than you might in the rowdy, horrible London pub. You stay a bit longer. There's a cosy fire.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing big jumpers. And you know what I think about big jumpers. And then you just go, come back for some bread and cheese and a glass of Madeira. And before you know it, Jack's your uncle, mother's your... I can't remember what that's saying.
Jack's your uncle, mother's your aunt. Don't bring aunts and uncles into sex. It's very deeply suspicious. It's
What's
not nice.
this say?
Yeah, Fanny's your grant.
No.
Fanny's your grant. Grant's your Fanny and...
What is it?
Fanny's your aunt.
No. What is it? How come we can't remember it?
How's your father and Fanny's your aunt?
Anyway,
look,
before you know it...
I don't think there's any big kind of prizes for wondering why it happens more in the countryside.
Well, I don't know. Other people might have other opinions.
She goes into great detail. She does it very funnily. She talks about how in Frome, of all places...
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Thank you.
In Frome, the latest obsession, she says, is shibari.
They've even got workshops.
Local meetings in oast houses where they tie each other to workshops.
This is Japanese tying
She
up.
said she was looking at a place, someone was asking to borrow her barn for an Airbnb party. And their question was, do you have wooden beams strong enough to hang people
She
from?
looked up at the beams and said, do you think I could hang a person?
That was such a slightly detailed adjustment of a story.
No, I tell you why. Because if I'm on the phone and someone's saying, have you got beams? I'm not as rocked as if I'm standing next to someone who's looking at my beams saying, do you think I could hang someone from it? For me, it's a massive difference.
Love Honey, the sex toy company, says that Carterton in Oxfordshire is the kinkiest place in the UK. But apparently no one does it better, as you rightly say, Nads, than the Cotswolds, where I thought I'd do a deep dive and find some photos. This is Killing Kittens, which was set up by a friend of Princess Kate, is that her name? She set up an organisation. It's elite parties in the countryside.
Do they all dress up like that?
Do they sit with us as if they've broken their backs? What's the broken back thing?
Oh, that's Arch keeps your boobs up.
Arch keeps your boobs up. Why do the men always look like insurance salesmen? I don't understand that. It's so boring. These are some photos from their parties. There's a nice party going on there.
Are these actual parties?
Yeah, these are actual parties.
How come everyone looks like a bloody supermodel? That's why they're all having loads of sex.
Yeah, and also here's a promo. Here's a promo reel from their. I put. There's an invite. I added that music.
Did you? I was going to say it. The music doesn't really go with it.
I wanted to sort of something.
For those listening on podcast, it was a very beautiful woman just slowly do the music, Mark, and I'll be here.
Well, I'll just play the music.
Okay. So people on podcast, while that music was going, is a delectable young woman with an eye mask
So
on,
if everyone was
just
beautiful,
running her finger very slowly down her face.
So here's my theory on this. I don't think people in the countryside have got any more time than anyone else in the city if you're of a certain normal lifestyle. I think what the common factor here is people are having sex who have got so much time and money on their hands, they can drive out of the city and stay in the Cotswolds for 3 days.
I mean, I've been to the posh bits in the Cotswolds and my God, it is posh.
Would you go to a sex party if they all look
I wouldn't
beautiful?
go to a sex party, whatever. I have no desire.
Do the back arch. Okay, we're going to have to stop now.
Don't do my neck.
Yeah, no, but it did wonders for other parts of me.
But the thing is, it's this Japanese tying them up in Frome. Apparently they're wild for it.
Yeah, shiburi. Now, you're not going to believe this. I was suggesting at one point it would be a funny thing to take Nadia to do shiburi at one point. Do you remember? I was going to vlog it for you guys, not for us. But yeah, so a former little chef in the Lake District has been turned into a thriving sex shop.
Good God.
I don't know.
Edward Bevington says a bit of outdoor rumpy pumpy.
Yes, absolutely. So Frome, they're all at it in Frome. There's not enough Frome for anyone there. Okay, well, that's a bit fun. Sex in the Shires, a load of old bollocks. I just want to play this clip.
No, I just wondered if anyone had identified with the areas where there was not enough sex. Because Jackie Vellino earlier said it's all true, but I don't know what you were talking about.
Okay, has anyone here been to a sex party? And if you
I don't think people should say it.
Well, they might want to. Some people are quite exhibitionist.
Weirdos.
Well, they don't have to then, so don't.
No, don't say it.
Do say it. I live in the Lake District, says Stuart G. You've seen no evidence of this, right? I live in Hampshire, and Erin Bullimore, and I have to say there's a very healthy dogging community
up
on the hill.
Blimey.
Wow. Watch out for ants' nests, says Claire LC.
Oh yes.
I think I know what you mean.
I mean, it always feels like a good idea, doesn't
Dawny
it?
Harvey, been to a swingers club. Eye opener. I bet it was. Dawny. I said so not true. I said so not true.
Oh, not true. Why?
Yeah.
What's Shire?
Yeah, and Zoe, I find it all too unsexy, too forced. I find it's just so intimidating.
I just think you've just got to totally have that kind of mind.
Yes.
And
you've got to be slightly sociopathic.
No, I don't think so. I think just like it's just fine if everybody's into it. The trouble is, so often in a partnership, say, one person isn't as much as
the other person
one.
has had to be taken there with a leash. That's
they
another
don't,
thing.
because they don't want that person to then be unfaithful. So that's the only thing.
Bless them. I feel so.
I worked for Ann Summers for several years and many great years, but now I hate it.
Oh, had many great years, but now
I hate it, says Lucy Williams.
Do you think?
Thank you,
do you think all that kink side of things has now become so mainstream? It's become like everything. It's become almost quite serious rather than a bit of harmless fun. Do you know what I mean? It's no longer is it tickle and fancy. It's like it's got to be done properly and it's got to be done expensively and it's got to, you know what I mean? I can see
so everything's got too upgraded.
I accidentally ended up, ended up parking in a car park where dogging was going
Horrible,
on.
frightening.
What is it?
Well, it is. I'd be frightened if I suddenly pulled up in a car park and saw that.
But the way you said it.
Frightening,
horrible, quite scary.
Right, let's get on to Ozempic.
I think we need to get off this just for a minute. Okay, so Ozempic, it was the Screen Actors Guild Awards last night, SAG Awards. And we're going to show some photos from the red carpet. I just want to, this just popped up at the last minute. Timothée Chalamet won Best Actor for A Complete Unknown, Bob Dylan, which is unusual because he hasn't won any award in anything for it. But this speech, I don't know how this speech left me feeling. I want to know what Nads thinks.
Most to me, and I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel. It's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
There's something about that I find a bit strange.
Well,
this doesn't signify that.
No, what he means is don't think that I'm saying now I'm great because I've got this, but thank you for this because it pushes me on to be the very best. So, it's very American. I mean, to say I want to do great, I want to be the best, I want to do. It's weird. If I saw it written down, I probably wouldn't like it, but I think it was quite humble the way he said it. I'm inspired by great people, and that's my ambition.
I quite literally didn't know what I felt about it.
I'm not saying I'm great here, but it's something. I think he's giving meaning to the award. I think he's saying, because there's always insecurity, isn't there, if you're striving to be better and striving to be great. And so he's saying this has given me another push that I could be as great as the people I look up to.
Well, not surprisingly, there are numerous people trying to kind of suggest it was a very sort of odd, ungrateful kind of but it's interesting. I mean, watching again, I just didn't really know what to make of it. And I think what you've said is absolutely spot on. He's in pursuit of greatness, says Reese. He's talking about acting in the form of sports, which when you look at acting, it's prime super athletic to a degree.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because actually,
and he's very good.
We accept that from athletes.
Yes.
And funny enough, I was telling some of the youngsters at Loose Women the other day, some of my movie stories, from being films, all because I was talking about my dad in James Bond. And I was talking about Halle Berry, which I've said before. And I was saying to these young people, I said, the stars really are athletes in every way. Yeah. Because it's not just the body that has to be in prime, but mentally, intellectually, they have to be so informed. To be a star, you have to be really informed. You have to be well read. You have to be on your game.
If you're at your best, because a lot of them are really not well informed.
You have to be all the time working. And so I think that's a really good way to look at it, Reese, is that why would we accept that from a sports person?
I agree. And on that note, someone's just asking, what's the Bob Dylan film like? I went in not wanting to like it, but the thing that won me over is just how actually he's right. He commits. Yeah. He commits. And same with Wonka. I mean, it's just
he'll have
not
been
my
through
kind of
hell
film,
to do that film.
Yeah. Okay, well,
apart from anything else, just starving down to that size. God.
Let's have a look at some of the red carpet appearances. Demi Moore.
We don't know that any of these people.
No, we don't. But the Daily Mail, as is the Daily Mail's want, have said fans shocked by skinnier than ever stars at SAG Awards amid Hollywood's Ozempic craze.
Now, I don't want to just keep saying everybody that's thin is Ozempic because we don't know. What I would say
here are some images of some of the actresses.
There is definitely now, you can't help but notice
Kathy Bates.
that people's body types, you know, as I said at the beginning of the show, you know, I hate skinny hating or skinny shaming, because it's just another kind of body fascism. But when you're seeing people that were not that body type at all, so thin, you know, and if it was one or two, you never know. It could be an illness, it could be anything. So you shouldn't really comment on it. But there does see more and more people that are just looking so damn thin. I don't want to go back to those years of the heroin chic look, you know.
Can I ask a question? So, for example, I think a lot of people don't, you know, we live in a very sort of, it's weird, isn't it? We've got an incredible movement in the world to not be politically correct and all these kind of things. But there's still, you know, there's still a desire to just be respectful. At what point, if they are celebrities, is it okay to comment on, say, whether one thinks Demi Moore looks much thinner than, can one use language like, gosh, she looks thinner than she should, or is that judgy? Is that shamey? Is it automatically
I think picking
shamey?
out the individual people is the thing is, what we're talking about is
like
across the board.
Kathy Bates said, that's her name, isn't it? Yeah, Kathy Bates said she lost weight and then she lost an additional 20 pounds through Ozempic. So
she said that.
She said she's used it.
But you know, she was very overweight, which was very bad for her health. You know, so I do think there's a place for it.
But at what point, guys? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying frail is not sexy. I get it, but I find it really. I'm just talking about the sort of kindness in my heart when I see these stories. I couldn't even bring myself to just go, "Oh my God, such and such is looking so," which everyone has done about Ariana Grande. Everyone.
She's always been a tiny little.
She's always been tiny, but more and more people just seem to say, "Oh, what's wrong with her? Why is she so skinny?"
Well, I think because when you lose a lot of weight, a lot of like an extraordinary amount of weight quickly, it's just what people do, isn't it? Because sometimes it can be down to illness, so people do it. But I just think, just talking more generally, and many of the people that we're seeing now that are very, very thin may very well not be on Ozempic. And what might be happening is that the new body fashion has come in and people are actually dieting. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh, so people could be dieting for the
because
Ozempic
is
look.
The new fashion trend here? You know, is it now? It's not the heroin chic. It's the Ozempic look, even if you're not taking Ozempic.
Right.
And I remember Jamelia 2 years ago doing a rage, or 3 years ago doing a raging, and none of us have heard of Ozempic. We didn't know what she was talking about. And she did a kind of rage Instagram post about, I'm sick to death of it. You know, these people are using this drug, you know, this diabetes drug. I thought, what's she talking about? Literally had never heard of it. She said, I'm going to shoots. There's not a single dress I can get to because everything's a 6 and everything's a... She did a big warning sign on it.
But in a weird way, there would be no, you can't go for Ozempic chic, as someone just called it, because everyone will just think you've taken Ozempic. So what do you then do? Do you then strive at these parties and say to people, you know what, I did this naturally?
It doesn't
I did this without the Ozempic, you know, but you still look like
work.
someone with Ozempic.
It doesn't really work like that, Mark. You don't go, oh, I'm going for Ozempic chic. It doesn't work like that. It's like girls when they first start going to the gym and they start, you know, and they're spending they've gone from 10 minutes on working on their butt to half an hour. You know, sometimes I'm in that gym, you see the entire time you're there, you see a girl just constantly working on a butt. It creeps up on you. They would say, oh, I'm not going for Ozempic chic. It's fashion. And this is what I was trying to say to our girls. Don't be trying to fundamentally change your body type with any kind of exercise, because there'll be a new fashion will come in.
And that's interesting, because that's kind of how the media turns it into feeling like a lifestyle choice, because they'll say Ozempic chic. I mean, that is an interesting point. How many people are now inadvertently trying to get themselves to look like people
subliminally sold? You're subliminally sold a look. Yeah. And then before you know it, everyone's looking like that.
God, all I wish I was right now, just as an interlude before we go into doggies, is I just wish I was a squirrel. Squirrels sleeping in winter, guys, for those of you listening. Okay, dogs, and do they love us? What's the giveaway sign that a dog loves us?
Well, first of all, nudging is something that Toffee does all the time.
Nudging, yes.
Nudging.
I'm looking at the list
and
here.
She will literally go bam like that and pull your arm. And it says, surprisingly, did you see it? It says that this means that they are not done yet.
Yeah, they are
with
in no
affection.
way, shape,
No
or
way,
form done with
shape or
affection.
form. Now, Toffee would do that all day and all night. And it says to just carry on. I thought, well, we wouldn't do anything else.
Stop. But this is another nice one. Toffee always, in fact, both the dogs, whenever I'm editing in that room, or if I'm editing in that room, or if I'm editing over there, sitting close by, where a dog decides to sit will show people their level of trust and affection. They always sit close, doesn't she? Leaning, Chi-Chi leans a lot.
Oh, we love that. That's my favorite.
When petting a dog, they start to lean into you. This is their way of seeking closeness and security.
Chi-Chi does this. She then nuzzles like a great big horse, like a horse's head. She feels like a horse, doesn't she?
Our dogs love us. Belly rubs while rolling on their backs and exposing their bellies. Oh, look at the other signs. If they're wagging their tails whilst doing this, then they love you. Following you around. The canine who loves you will want to be with you 24/7. We find that, quite exhausting, don't we?
God, this love is killing us.
Sharing toys. Toys are valuable to many dogs. Oh, Chi-Chi just loves her toy. They just bring it in all the time.
So if they come and give you their toy, it's not just that they want you to play. They're showing you that they trust you.
And jumping up, whilst we try and train it out of all dogs, I'm now beginning to believe trying to train a dog is like the equivalent to ADHD meds. It's trying to make us fit in a really horrible world. Jumping up is a natural way for dogs to greet people. It gives them a chance to get closer to your face. I just think that's so sweet. Sleeping position, where a dog chooses to sleep, gives owners a clear indication of how they feel. They're most vulnerable. If they decide to be near you, it means they feel safe and comfortable. Well, some nights Toffee throws a strop because she would like to be upstairs with us.
Oh, we've never let them upstairs too much.
Finally, dogs will sometimes lick you to show their love for you. Now, you hate this. I mean, and Toffee always wants to lick me. To understand the difference, look into their body language. If their ears are pinned back or their body is tense, then they're not feeling their best.
No, it says look out for it, because it can mean that they're in pain or feeling anxious.
Yeah. No, she just kind of seems to love me. Return the love. Anyway, that's nice. It's nice. So, I mean, all the kind of obvious signs tell you that your dog loves you. Our dogs fucking adore us. Okay, we've got a final funny clip, Nads. Do you want it?
Yeah.
Kind of self-explanatory.
This weekend.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
What just happened? I lost my Jen, stop. Oh my God.
It was so weird.
But you know, sometimes when you just have those weird falls, and you just can't work out what
I'm just going to
happens.
show the moment she falls because it looks like it's a choice.
No, it's just
We
her
had
foot rock.
63
Crosses over.
showings this weekend.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Paperwork ruined.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love
There
it.
you go, guys. So, we'll catch you all at the next dogging session in Sheffield, shall we?
Yeah, and please, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Please follow us on @the Curly Cooks of Croydon and also @the Popcorn Junkies.
We had a tech issue last night uploading, which meant we had to re-edit last night's vlog.
Yes.
That will be landing tonight.
We're having a nightmare with YouTube.
Yeah, that will be landing tonight. Fingers crossed, everything going well at 6:30, as it should have done last night.
And it's very bloody
Very funny.
funny.
It's
God.
very funny. All right, guys, have a lovely Monday and see you